negative emotion, a forceful anger or whatever, a forceful negative motive, and then acts out on an impulse, carries out that action, but immediately afterwards feels deep regret for the act that is committed. So that action would be less forceful, because the three stages, the motivation, the actual action, and the completion were not complete, not completely fulfilled. Therefore, that action would be seen as less forceful compared to an instance where the person has acted out completely with a strong motivation, actual execution, and a sense of taking pleasure or satisfaction at the act committed. Similarly, there could be instances where the individual may have a very weak motivation, but some circumstances forces the individual to actually commit the act. But even in that case, although the negative act is committed, but it would be less forceful because the strong motivating force wasn't there. So depending on how forceful the motivation and the actual act and the completion are, there is a varying degrees of force and intensity of the karma.
No, today that really a strong juxene. Did I have a industry? Kasobuge Sal Macheva, Chala Masaba, Chasaniga Town, Chasaniga Maimba, the Shishido.
Because of these differences in the scriptures, we find discussions of 4 types of karma. Karma which is executed but not accumulated. And then there is a karma which is accumulated but not executed. And then a karma where the act is both executed and also the karma is accumulated. And then karma where there is an absence of both accumulation and the actual execution of the act.
So today it is an le gevet charlia gulung da jig 가서 그게 숙성부지 용투야 그노 야고 쩨 그노 답도 내버지 무시 두베 내걸래 초근진에 그게다 그게 무슨 소리지 아 다가는 신 룰에 개왕모다 제수 이랑시야 엔 톱나 디가라 미미기 겐디치야 도스차리나 아니 개와도 답셔부쳐요 단 미기에 차리야 그저 톱도 당분에지 그노 다시 숙타고 마요야 다 아니 바르도 이네 그게 다 개벨랩도 타만 룰이야 아니 간단 개벨 샤tam치야.
Once you understand the importance of this point, the significance of this point, and also once you understand that even within a single act, there are different stages to the actual act, that the karma itself is a composite, sort of a cumulative act. Once you appreciate that fact, then whenever you have the opportunity to engage in a positive action, then as a practitioner, it is important to ensure that at the initial stage, your motivation is very strong, your positive motivation is strong, and you have a strong intention to engage in the act. And while you are actually executing the act, you should ensure that you have given all your best. You have put all your effort into sort of a successful action of the karma. And then not only that, but at the end, once the act is committed, it is important to ensure that you dedicate the karma, the positive karma that you have accumulated or created towards the well-being of sentient beings and your own attainment of enlightenment and so on. And especially if one can sort of reinforce that dedication with an understanding of the empty nature, the ultimate nature of reality, even then it will be more forceful. Similarly, when as a practitioner, of course, ideally one should try to avoid from engaging in any negative actions at all. But even if you find yourselves in a situation where you are committing a negative or non-virtuous action, it is important to make sure that at least the motivation is not strong. There is no strong emotion involved. Similarly, even when you are acting, while you are acting, executing the action, if there is a strong sort of conscience pangs or sort of sense of regret or sense of kind of remorse, then of course the negative act, though committed, will be very weak. Similarly, this should not be sort of followed by any sense of satisfaction. You should not take joy in any negative actions that is committed, but rather you should feel deep remorse and regret, and then immediately you should follow the act by, if possible, sort of purification of that negativity. So if you can do that, if you can live a way of life where this is your way of relating to the sort of positive and negative actions, then you will be able to follow the law of the teachings of the karma in a much more effective way.
나 미기회 레 dom구여나 미기회 컨트레스라위나 아니 낭주기 가서 그러다 슝망고 나로네 지용구 송야리야 아니 미기 주본 주는 거를 예송해.
So although there are many different types of negative actions, but in most of the Buddhist scriptures, when the sort of teachings on the karma and is presented, all the negative actions are sort of condensed or summarized in the form of what is known as the avoidance from the 10 negative actions or 10 non-virtuous actions. These being 3 actions of body, and 4 of speech, and 3 of mind. The 3 bodily acts being
social.
Avoiding from, 3 bodily negative actions being killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct, and 4 actions of speech being telling lies, engaging in divisive speech, speech which are divisive, and using harsh words, and engaging in just sort of senseless gossip, and the 3 mental actions being covetousness and harmful intention, harboring harmful thoughts, and holding wrong views. So for an ideal practicing Buddhist Dharma practitioner must live a way of life where the individual avoids from all of these negative actions, if possible from all of them, if not at least refraining from as many of these actions as possible. And so leading a way, sort of ethically disciplined way of life, whereby you avoid from these actions, is called leading a moral life according to the Buddhist understanding.
10개배 안에 아니 선함은 뭐 당분도 바로 다는 더버시 타마다 군도 디시니 캐바인시 소는 시전이 다 라린께도 전에 림바 당고디 당연 두스샤 낭주근도 단디 두저 탈바샤체 두저 탈바샤네 아니 뒤주야 생각이야 뉴몬로다 가서 그게 인연부 때는 뉴몬을 갖대줘야 돼. 뉴몬도 탑고야지. 나 뉴몬을 깨워 제고야 돼. 나 뉴몬을 깨워 제발이야. 냐라 리시기 팔라 뉴몬을 깨도야 가고래. 근데 상황이 있잖아요. 뉴몬배 샹왕도 두네. 아니 내주 텐데하게 내주들이 뭐버디 다시 못한 거 시작이 말이야. 되네 좀 이번에 내주들이 편하게 짜외 교로 진행이 뉴몬을 내못돼야. 되네 좀 수버디 뉴몬 대샤고 파자를 내못돼야. 디시야.
So the general mode of procedure of a spiritual practitioner in Buddhism, someone who is sort of engaging on a spiritual path, towards enlightenment, according to Buddhism, is that at the initial stage, at the beginner's stage, such a person's, such a practitioner's ultimate aspiration is to attain